you very much. And another debate about breast cancer. And there have been many, Ms McVeigh, too many. For my first 5 years I was in this place, I was very proud to lead the Breast Cancer All-Party Group, and I see that it is in good hands with my honourable friend from North Warwickshire. And for more than 2 years it was the privilege of my life to serve in government as the Cancer Minister, to be part of what I called Team Cancer. And heaven knows I spent my fair share of time sitting in that seat in this Westminster Hall, as the current Public Health Minister now knows. But for each of the 10 years I've been an MP, we've lost around, as has been said, 11,500 women a year in the UK to this menace. That number has come down thanks to advances that we've made and investment that all governments have put in. But we've got to do so much better, because that is 115,000 mums, sisters, grands, aunties and friends the past decade that I've served in this place. And I've never spoken before about which one of them it was for me, and I don't think I'll go there today. But I'll say this: I've fought and I've lost breast cancer more than I've won. And let's not forget the guys, and I was very glad the previous speaker mentioned them. Yes, it's rare in men, but around 370 men a year are diagnosed in the UK, and it still kills. And so I really welcome the male breast cancer study, which was established to pinpoint some genetic and environmental lifetime causes of breast cancer in men. So just going back, if I may, to the title of today's debate, yeah, it's true, COVID hasn't helped, but the breast cancer toll goes on, regardless. And that's as true today as it was pre-pandemic. Breast cancer remains a largely beatable and treatable cancer if it is detected early. Primary breast cancer can be fatal, but we know that almost all deaths from the disease are attributable to the development of metastatic or secondary breast cancer. And as Breast Cancer Now put it so well, it's been quoted before, but it's worth saying again, coronavirus is the biggest crisis that secondary breast cancer has faced in decades. We know that some patients with breast cancer had their treatments changed or paused to protect their immune systems. And we wait, I think, with nothing but fear for the impact of those periods in keeping the disease stable. And just to stop for a moment to consider the reality behind those pauses, you know, it's that sinking feeling in your stomach every morning when you wake up and remember that you've got breast cancer, but you can't take any action to beat back the disease because of the pandemic. It's that when you're busy doing something else, maybe enjoying a child or a grandchild being super cute, and then it rushes back in on you like a punch to the stomach, and you realise you can't take any action to beat the disease because of the pandemic. And for the children of breast cancer patients who call up on Zoom because they can't meet and things look and sound the same, but mum can't take any action to beat back the disease. And so much of these COVID delays that we hear about today have had a negative impact on the emotional well-being of patients and their families. So therefore, never before has the clinical nurse specialist role been more important. And we've heard how research undertaken by Breast Cancer Now, an excellent charity, patients say they feel they've had less contact with their CNS during the pandemic. So when she sums up, I wonder if the Minister could just update us on CNSs, I know she will. And the flip side, of course, to that emotional support is the third sector. I know many charities, including Wessex Cancer Support and the Winchester and Eastleigh Cancer Support Group in my area, have switched from physical to virtual, and I thank them for the work that they've done. But there are other charities who have, just when we need them most, had to pull back. And Haven Wessex, which opened only a few years ago, they've had to pull back, as have the West Midlands Haven in Solihull, and they've closed permanently, and the charity is now operating only online services out of its London base. And then just finally, Ms McVeigh, breast cancer incidence in my area, the Wessex area, is significantly higher than the England average. We've got a rate of 184 per 10,000 compared to 168 across the country. Our mortality rate is spot on the average, but that still has us losing 118 people every year, almost all from secondary. So I was alarmed that my trust had to cease the local breast screening programme in March because of do not attends and cancelled appointments in the first lockdown. And then 3 weeks later, they got the formal guidance, and the service was suspended for 17 weeks. I fear this could be one of the terrible legacies of lockdown. The good news is the restoration of the screening service is well underway, and I thank the team at Hampshire Hospitals for doing that. The tragedy for us is that pre-COVID, Winchester had a very high uptake in local screening population, and we've got to get back there. So I think, Ms McVeigh, it's a battle royal that we've got on our hands with breast cancer. It was before the pandemic, and it is after. And when I sat in that seat, many hated me describing breast cancer, as a fight. But I don't refrain from that, because it is just that. It always was. And we need to up our game pre-COVID, and we certainly need to up our game post-COVID if we're not to be here in another 10 years having exactly the same conversations. Thank you very much.